the latest from Zack Snyder, who's having a big year this year, obviously with the Snyder Cut, which like that could be his apex mountain right there. Is the Snyder Cut? He got everything he finally ever wanted, and got his movie out there, his 4 hours, and people loved it. So he followed that up 2 months later with Army of the Dead, which went straight to which went to Netflix. But I know Warner Brothers sold it off, and I feel like they're kicking themselves for that right now because around the same time they released Those Who Wish Me Dead on HBO Max, and didn't watch that at all compared to Army of the Dead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was I didn't see Those Who Want Me Dead. I can't.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't, and and I'm a big Tyler Sheridan fan, so I'm surprised I wasn't one that was really. It just wasn't on my radar. Again, this is something that you're probably going to hear over and over again. It might be just the bad marketing on it. I didn't hear enough about that film, honestly. I just heard it was, I heard about it maybe a week or two before it released, and I didn't really care about it. But Army of the Dead, obviously, is something I did know about for over a year. I want to say it's been a while since I knew that he was working on a second zombie film since Dawn of the Dead, which I think that's all that can be a whole episode that I can talk about Dawn of the Dead, to be completely honest.
Not today.
Yeah, not today. But you know what? I overall really enjoyed this film. It has so many plot holes and so many issues with it. But I just had a good time. I think the reason why was because I didn't go in there trying to critique it or I just went in there because I wanted to have a good time. I wanted to see some zombies, and that was it. Like, leave my brain at the door, shove popcorn, in my mouth, and just, overall enjoy it. One of the things that I absolutely love about this film that I can't say enough, and this is something else that you're gonna hear me talk about more than once today, the opening credits. I thought the opening credits to this movie were fantastic. Beautifully shot by Snyder. If there's one thing that the man can do, in my opinion, is he knows how to make a pretty film. Very polished. There's some questionable CGI in the film, I know that, but overall it looks nice. The scale of it looks nice. But I loved the storytelling he did. It kind of did remind me. A lot of people that I've talked to, they're like, dude, I've never seen anything like that. I really like the opening credits. It kind of did remind me of Zombieland, how Zombieland was telling a story while playing, Metallica, which, again, one of my favorite bands of all time. And, anytime you start off a movie with Metallica, I'm automatically in. Like, you automatically happy. But the way he was telling the story of everything that was going down, I thought was so great. And who would have thought that the zombie apocalypse in a Zack Snyder film was caused by Roadhead? I thought that was fantastic too. That I was like, "Are you serious? This is how it's going down, dude."
So I know you love this movie, and you were hyping it up to me before I even got a chance to see it. And so I took a night to sit down and watch it. And I went into it the same as you. I didn't want to critique or anything. I just wanted to have a good time, enjoy it. And that's exactly what I did. I thought this movie it moves, even though it's like 2.5 hours, it does move along pretty steadily. I think a lot of the characters are really interesting. Actually, I feel like most of them are over Bautista. I feel like Dave Bautista is a good little anchor, but he's really not the most interesting character compared to everyone else. But I called you after I saw this movie, and I didn't want to critique this, but it was just something that bugged me the entire time. That's sitting in the back of my mind. So the plot of this movie is a rich guy hires Bautista to get a crew together to go rob his casino to open the safe down his casino with $200 million in it. And they hire a safe cracker, they hire like a tracker, all these people to go in there. My biggest problem was, if it's his safe, how come he didn't just give them the combination? Why did they need to hire a safe cracker?
So I talked to one of my friends about that, right? And he's like, okay, see your point, and I get it. And he goes, however, he's like, the mission was never the money. That was a suicide mission that he sent them on because he wanted the head of the zombie to make their own super zombies. He's like, whether he had it or not, he's like, he wasn't going to give it to him because that money was all a decoy for them to get what he really wanted. So
But
I
then
was like,
how come no one in the crew was like, well, if it's your safe, why don't you just give me the combination?
well, that is a whole nother conversation, but that's the reason why he didn't give it. Like that was just dumb character writing right there.
Yeah.
But yes, like when I mentioned that to him, he's like, "Oh yeah, I see what you're trying to say," and then he's like, "But remember that the head was what they wanted," which is kind of spoilery, and I didn't want to get into spoilers with this movie, but but yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like I like the ensemble cast. To be completely honest with you, I thought overall they really did work well.
Mm-hmm.
Ella Purnell's character is the only one that I personally couldn't stand, and it's the character,
Mm-hmm.
not her. So I don't like Kate, not Ella. Ella, I think she's a fine actress. I just didn't like a lot of the decisions that she made in the film. It actually really like, pissed me off towards it. But overall, I feel like this movie has, again, it's plot hole galore and all that. You got to go in there with just not expecting too much out of this film, but I feel like you'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
Great action, great zombie fun, very different takes on zombies as well, which is something that we've never seen. There's a specific scene that requires like zombies hibernating, which I know some people are like, what, they hibernate? I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting take. And that scene was kind of tense for me. I thought it was a really good, like, holy shit, like kind of edge on my seat film. But if we're going to talk any standouts within, if we're going to shout anybody out, man, I don't know. I'm going to butcher his last name. Matthias Schweigenhofer.
Is he the safecracker?
Plays Dieter, along with Amari Hardwick, which I know really well from Power. I absolutely love him. He's the lead in Power. But their little bromance that they have going on, it starts off really like they don't like. He's like, what is this guy doing here? This big buff guy, and then all of a sudden, he just. They build this bond with each other where they're just kind of like looking out for each other. I really, really like that. I felt like every character, for the most part, plays what they need to do. They go in there, the ass kickers are kicking ass, the bad guys are being bad, the comic reliefs are throwing jokes and making us laugh. I feel
Tigna
like
Taro is great. She's just like she's chewing up scenery. She's just being herself. Like that. One of the best moments in movies when they go to hire her and they're like, "We'll give you $2 million," and she's like, "I'll do it." And they go, "Do you know what you're doing?" And she's like, "Nope, my life sucks, and $2 million will make it a hell of a lot better."
Which was really impressive with that was I had no idea that she was hired after.
Yeah. And she never met the entire cast.
And she never met the cast. So every scene that she was in was just put there by Snyder without, basically she was the only one doing the reshoots. Thought that was pretty impressive.
She knew what she was doing, and I feel like the movie itself didn't take itself too seriously, and that's what made it better too, is it knows it's a fun zombie action movie, and we just want to go in there and entertain you. That's exactly what it does. And I think it's one of the better Netflix movies that come out this year, especially better than Woman in the Window. So I give a thumbs up to Army of the Dead, and I know for sure you do too, Jader.